So we've learnt this morning that energy prices are going up again from January. Also this morning, questions over what lessons have been learned from the pandemic after Baroness Hallett's latest report on the government's handling of COVID, and now reports that the Prime Minister is set to approve China's super embassy. So lots to talk to the government about this morning. And I'm pleased to say that Science, Innovation and Technology Secretary Liz Kendall is here with me. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
So lots to rattle through. Bear with me while we trip through these subjects. I want to start with China, though, because there are reports this morning that Keir Starmer is set to approve China's super embassy in London. Is that true? And if so, are you not concerned about the risks of espionage, given the sensitive location of this proposed embassy?
I can't comment on that news story today. Any decisions will be taken with through the proper process. But I would say this to you and to your listeners, that we are clear-eyed about our relationship with China. Our national security will always come first. That is absolutely non-negotiable. But where we can safely work with China, whether that's on the economy or areas like research, that's what we'll do, because we want to get the best outcome for the British public.
But a lot of people will remember those warnings just in the last few days and weeks from our security services of large-scale espionage across the UK, allegations of spying right at the heart of Westminster. People might be a bit surprised to hear that the Prime Minister is planning a trip to China.
Well, I don't know about the Prime Minister's diary plans for the new year, but what I do know is that he takes all of those issues extremely seriously. We will do everything possible to keep this country safe, and we are very clear-eyed about China's role there. But we also know that if there are areas we can work together on, whether that's in research or on economic growth, we need to do that, because we need to get those jobs and growth in this country.
Let me move on to energy prices, because we've learned just in the last few minutes that Ofgem has raised the price cap by 0.2%, not by much, but it was expected to go down. And it does mean that bills are 35% higher than they were before the war in Ukraine. Your government promised that bills would fall by £300. This is going in totally the wrong direction, isn't it? What's going wrong?
We are determined to deliver on that. Look, I know that people, especially as it's getting colder now, they're going to be really worried about their bills. They're going to be very worried indeed. And I want to assure people we are taking action. In the short term, this winter, an extra 250,000 people, that means now 6 million households in total, will have access to the Warm Homes discount. That's £150 off their bill, because we are spreading that to everybody on universal credit, low income, often very hard-working families. But in the long run, the only way we're going to get energy bills down, to get us off this roller coaster of the volatility of fossil fuels that we have seen, is to make sure we've got our own homegrown clean energy, renewable energy. And I would say to you, last week, we announced a really groundbreaking deal for 3 small modular nuclear reactors in North Wales, with the ability to build more. We've already built more solar and wind farms.
Bills in the short term, isn't it? You're talking long term, but just to look at.
But both. I think people want short. People are bothered right now about getting through the winter, and that's why I've said we are taking further action. There's the budget to come next week, and the Chancellor's been very clear. She wants to see more action to bring the cost of living down. But we've also got to take those... Ultimately, we need to take those long-term decisions.
Yes, but those long-term decisions, which may well bring relief in the future, are causing pain now. The rise in, which is expected to go up in April as well, is not because of wholesale gas prices. It's actually because of the costs of investments in renewables and getting the system ready for that move to clean energy. That's what is pushing our bills up. Is this rush to net zero making us all poorer?
Well, the real issue why our bills are high that we need to get down is because we've had this reliance on fossil fuels and the volatility that we have directly seen in the market. We have to make the long-term decisions to invest in clean energy and homegrown renewable energy. But I would say to your listeners, if you're on universal credit, that increase in the number of people who are going to get access to the Warm Homes discount, £150 off your bill this year. And also, we are absolutely determined to do more. And I'm sure there will be more action on the cost of living in the budget.
But is the push too fast?
No, I think we've got to manage this carefully, because in the end, people want us to take long-term decisions, but right now they want to get those bills down. I'm proud of the action we've taken so far, but I'm sure there's more to do.
I want to get your reflections on Baroness Hallett's details yesterday, her COVID inquiry, the second part, and her conclusions. She's been scathing in her analysis of the government's handling of the COVID pandemic. Keir Starmer has paid tribute to those who lost their lives and is saying that lessons will be learned. But what lessons have been learned? Are we ready for another pandemic?
I do have to just start with the families who lost their loved ones, because they're now reliving all that pain and trauma once again. And I also think about my city, Leicester. You know, we were in lockdown the longest. So I'm determined to learn all the lessons. That is what the government is doing. We have recently run a big cross-government exercise on pandemic preparedness, so we can go through this all and make sure we've got all the right things in place. But what is interesting to me about this report is how important the report says science is, scientific experts. And we really have to back our great scientists, back that expertise. You'll remember some people saying, we didn't need to listen to experts, but we do. And I would also say, looking ahead, we know that incredible developments in AI will enable us to develop drugs and treatments and vaccines much more quickly. We need to invest in that. That's part of the announcement that I'm making today, a new AI growth zone in South Wales, but also how we help British scientists, British researchers have access to computing power to develop those new drugs, vaccines and treatments, but also how we back British businesses so that they can actually use those developments and put products into place and grow the economy. There's more we can do, I'm sure, and Keir, I know, is absolutely determined. We will do everything we can to learn the lessons from that dreadful period.
Liz Kendall, we appreciate your time. Thanks very much indeed.